welcome to a brand new episode of Confessions with Lo. Before we get into it, make sure you are subscribed, give this video a thumbs up, and turn on your post bell notifications. Oh, and leave a comment down below. I be saying that so out of order. Y'all, my family group chat is just so annoying to me. They will send 1,000 memes from like 2010 all day long and be cracking up, and it just be so annoying. But anyways, let's get into it. Okay, also before we get into it, because I'm gonna read Shorty email, and if you're watching this, Miss Mamas, I want to say this in like the nicest way possible. I get y'all emails, okay? I get lots of emails, okay? A lot of people want to share their experiences with me. They do. Let me say something. You only have to email me one time. If you've ever sent me an email and I didn't read it, either number one, you sent it to somebody else. Let me just go on a rant real quick. Hold on. Just give me a second. You sent it to somebody else. And I keep telling y'all, nobody wants to keep hearing the same stories over and over and over again. Simone told the story. T told the story. Lo told the story. K told the story. Plenty of people. Nobody wants to keep hearing the same stories over and over and over again. And it's just like, after I tell y'all this, because I haven't just said this one time. I tell y'all this over and over and over again. I just had to email somebody back like a few days ago, because they literally sent me a story, and the first line said, "Hey Lo." I'm like scanning over the email a little bit, because you know I don't like to like read ahead or nothing, but something just told me, and then in the thing it says Simone's name, so I politely had to write back like, I would have really loved to read your whole email, but you didn't proofread this, and you didn't even take Simone's name. And like, that's like offensive to me, because sometimes in the emails it'd be like, "Girl, I love your channel so much, you inspire me, oh, you my home," but you said this to somebody else. This wasn't even intended for me. I'm offended.
That kind of hurted me though.
We're not doing that. And then two, you only have to send me one email. I promise you I'm gonna get to your email. So it's like, if you have sent me something like a month ago, I haven't read yours yet, probably because there's people in front of you and I read them in the order that I get them. So this girl, we're going to start off with her, because she not only sent me one email, she sent me 3. And the first one was the actual confession. The second one was a picture. And then the third one was just like some dots, like ... So I took that as, why are you continuously emailing me about this? I'm gonna get to you when I get to you, babe. I'm gonna get to you when I get to you. And when you do that, you actually, because I was gonna, like, you were next up in line. Like, you were gonna be the third confession, because that's just how I got them in order. When you do that and you constantly email like this, like you go on the same conversation thread and you send a new email, it pushes you back. So if I would not have ever put 2 and 2 together to see this, that you already emailed me, your confession was one of the most recent ones. You would have got read like 2-3 weeks down the line. Like, just give me a step. Like, I try to be nice and I try to be accommodating. I don't never want to seem like a bitch to nobody, but it's just like, y'all gotta like work with me for real. Like, I'm tired of it at this point. Like, please. So because you were so pressed about getting your email read, I'm gonna start off with you. Please. I was gonna read it, babe. I was gonna read it. Like, please, like, and I hate for somebody to make it seem like they trying to like rush me or something. Like, what them 3 little dots was supposed to mean? Like, ... She didn't even say nothing in the email. It was just like ... So let's start off with her confession. This says, "My ex threatened to me." So she said, "Hey girl, I love you and your channel, and like, I love you too. I'm not trying to like sound like bitchy or nothing or mean, but it's just like, babe, give me some time. Like, hold on. It's people in front of you. I gotta read their confessions first, because that wouldn't be fair if I just skipped all over the place and somebody sent me a confession in May and now it's November, and like, just give me some time. I love you and your channel so much. You are so funny and real. Keep doing your thing. But let's get into this crazy story time. My name is blank, and we gonna call my ex Goofy because he's a goofy ass nigga. Me and Goofy was dating for about 2 or 3 months, and it was all good in the beginning, like always. Then he started acting weird and started talking to other girls like that was a whole mess. Let me know if you want to hear about that. But he was being weird. He wasn't talking to me as much. He wouldn't want me to stay the night as often no more, which was weird because I was always over there. Even when he was not home, keep that in mind. So after the long nights of crying and venting to my friends and sisters, I left. Fast forward to 1 month or two after we broke up, he started coming to my job, following me around and trying to talk to me with his weird ass, LOL. So this one day he came up there and he sat at the bar, and I realized that he was just looking at me with anger in his eyes, so I didn't pay him no mind because I told y'all he weird. So it's an hour before we close, and he gets up to try to follow me like usual. So this time I'm actually trying to get away. Like, I'm jogging around my job trying to get away. One, because what do you want? Two, he still looked very angry. So he finally gets to me and trapped me in a small place. Keep in mind, my coworkers are all right there telling him to leave me alone. So he come out his mouth and says, "Did you have anything to do with my house getting robbed?" I was so confused, but I tell him no. He says okay and walk away and sit back down. That is very weird. Then he decides to get up again and tell me if he found out I had something to do with his house getting robbed, he was going to me and my mom, and he puts his hands up like he was gonna hit me. So at that point I'm scared, so I call my mom, dad, cousin, best friend, damn near the whole call log, because I don't play when it comes to my life. So my manager, of course, heard him, so she puts him out. So he decides he's going to put a ski mask on and walk around my job parking lot waiting for me to come out. And once he realizes I'm not coming out, he tries to come back in. So I run to my manager's office and lock myself in there. So of course they don't let him back in. So he walked around the parking lot literally until everyone was gone and was telling my coworkers he was gonna come to my house and me and my mom, and was asking did I leave, just being weird and crazy. FYI, he's still trying to talk to me to this day from different numbers. What a weirdo. But I hope you read this. I know it's a long story, but let me know if you want a story time on the time that he cheated on me. And then the next email, she sent a picture. She said, "This is me. I don't have a picture of his goofy ass." Yes, that was a very weird. No, I didn't have nothing to do with your house getting robbed, but now I'm fit too. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that was strange. Thank you for sending that in though, and we off to the next one. Okay, ooh, y'all, this is really long. This one says part 1. Oh, she sent a part 1 and a part 2. She said the time when I thought I had something special out of state. That's part 1. And then part 2 says the time the pregnant BN popped up out of state. So she said, names are respectfully changed to protect the innocent, guilty, and unknown. I'm just saying. Thank you in advance for reading my confession. I apologize if it's too long. I caught myself breaking it into 2 parts. You can decide if you want to read both at the same time. I'm just appreciative that you will read this on your channel. Aww. Yes, we are going to read both parts. So she said characters, y'all. She done broke this email down, baby. She said characters. Me, Noid, my friend group collectively agreed that although dude had a nice car and could dress, he had a striking resemblance to the Noid from the Domino commercials back in the day. Am I saying that right? Noid, N-O-I-D. Did y'all know sometimes I don't be pronouncing stuff right and y'all be laughing at me. I think I'm saying that right. Shayna, my BFF, Tracy, my friend, Mike, my homeboy, Marvin, my other homeboy, and Mike's business partner, Sitting Pretty, a random, Noy's mom, and Noy's dad. Am I saying that right, Roy? Please. If I'm not saying that right, that's their name in the story. I don't care. So she said, part 1, this story takes place a few years ago when I had a teen in the back of my age. Are you a TT? Like, are you older? Like, way older? So she said, me and Shayna was chilling at our homeboy Mike's car stereo / CD / DVD store. DVD store? Yeah. Which we refer to as the shop. Shayna worked at the shop on nights and weekends. We spent a lot of our time at the shop because it was a popping place to be. Everybody had a car or stereo from every side of our city. from every side of our city came through at some point, so Shayna didn't have to be on the clock for us to be there hanging out. Mike owned the shop, and Marvin did stereo and alarm system installations right out front when the purchase was made for Mike's shop. One day, Noyd, who was already acquainted with Mike and Marvin, pulled up in his SC400 Lexus, asking Marvin to check something on his sound system, which was recently installed. Noyd was fly, and it probably boosted his status to pull up in his fly car with the knocking system. He was cute in an avoid the Noyd kind of way, LOL. Anywho, Mike walked outside with Marvin to look at the car/system. When Mike came back in, he handed me a paper with Noyd's name and number on it. I asked, "What's this?" Mike said, "I'ma tell you, like I told that ninja, I am not Chuck Woolery. Woolery? Chuck somebody, and this ain't the dating game. So you gonna have to call him and find out." I'm like, shit, he dressed nice, his car fly, and a clear break in the action from the local yokel ninjas that this is somebody TT. And I love that so much. From the local yokel ninjas that I have been talking to up to this point. Noyd's car had out-of-state tags. This state was about 30 minutes away. So I responded, "I'm calling right now, all thirsty." Noyd and I began talking and spending time with each other. We never had titles, but we agreed to keep our bullshit out of each other's laps and not mess around in each other's backyard. Meaning, I won't mess with guys in his state and he won't mess with girls in mine. Noyd would come by the shop when he was in my area, and we would usually plan on him coming to get me before he went back home. I usually spent 2 weekends a month at his house. Noyd lived with his parents, but this wasn't an issue because I lived with my parents too at the time. His mom was a sweetheart and his dad was cool. By the way, our ages were 19 and 22. I was 19. I started working my first adult job. This means that I stayed at this job for a few years and didn't quit or be fired because of a no-call, no-show from partying all night. I was giving adulting a go. I bought my first car while dating / seeing Noyd. It felt like he pulled me back once I was able to drive myself to his house. It went from him picking me up and staying 2 weekends a month to I would drive myself and stay once a month. We would talk on the phone about the same amount of time. Just seeing him got few and far between. Ooh. Do y'all be getting cotton mouth when y'all be talking, or that just be me? Hold on, I lost my place. Seeing him got few and far between. One Friday afternoon, me, Shayna, and Tracy pulled up to the shop to see if Mike and Marvin was hanging out after the shop closed. Mike was like, "I'm surprised you're gonna be free to go out. Your boy just pulled off and I thought he was about to head over to you. He was all rushing and shit." I was surprised because I'm usually aware when Noyd is in town. I shrugged it off for the moment, but made a mental note to cuss him out for sneaking around my turf. Our Fab Five, me, Shayna, Tracy, Mike, and Marvin, went out to eat at a nearby Fridays. Mike and Marv drove together, and me and Shayna and Tracy were in my car. So shortly after we left Fridays, Mike and Marvin went off on their own capper for the rest of the night, and we decided to ride through our city before the drop-off process. We had a red light directly in front of our city's community college. I'm looking off to my left at the college and said aloud, "Damn, I need to go back to school. No drama, no men, just focus on school." A car pulls up to the red light next to us, music blasting, the driver nodding his head to the beat, one hand on the steering wheel, etc. Tell me why it's Noyd with a girl sitting pretty in the passenger seat. Now Noyd, when he looked over and saw me, his ass rolled his tinted window all the way up, took off, and ran the red light. My crazy ass gave chase, running the red light too. Right after seeing that, I know you a muckin' lie look on both Shayna and Tracy faces. He was headed towards the highway, probably to his house. We both got stuck at the red light right before the highway entrance because a cop was coming down the street to our right. We both slammed on our brakes because clearly we both were going to run the red light too. The cop slowly crossed the intersection, looking in our direction like he was trying to figure out which car made that screeching sound. It was both our cars. Mine and Noid's car screeched our brakes. We didn't acknowledge each other or roll our windows back down for any exchange while next to each other at this light, so the cop kept going. Boom. When the light turned green, he was back at it. Noid flew up the highway ramp, and I was right behind him. Once we merged into traffic, he got out on me. He was gone. My little Toyota was not catching that Lexus. I was pissed. I took Shayna and Tracy home, then took my angry ass home too. This happened around 11/12 a.m. 11:30/12 a.m. I was up at 6 a.m. Saturday morning calling Shayna and Tracy to see who wanted to accompany me on my early morning pop-up out of state at Noid's house. Shayna had to work in a few hours, but Tracy was up and with the shits. I picked her up and we headed out of state. We got to Noid's house around 6:55 a.m. I parked and I knocked on the door. Noid's mom answered the door with a smile on her face, inviting me and Tracy in for breakfast. I quickly accepted the invite, signaled Tracy to come inside. We walked into the kitchen and found Noid and his dad eating breakfast and talking. Noid was cracking up laughing when he saw that it was me and Tracy. I did not find him funny. I was ticked, tacked, and told. Nonetheless, I was being quiet and respectful in his parents' home. No beef at the breakfast table. Anyway, no sign of sitting pretty either. We ate breakfast, then Noid and I went outside to talk. Tracy had hopped back in my car and waited for me. I was no longer pissed, but I checked him for breaking our rule and having me on a high-speed chase. He responded with a half-ass sorry. He swore he took off because he felt that me and my friends was going to jump sitting pretty if he pulled over. He said that she didn't live far from me, so he jumped back off the highway and took her home because he thought that I was going to pop up last night instead of this morning. Boy, bye. It ain't even that deep. Sitting pretty would have never been addressed unless she addressed me, period. I did understand why he felt that way. I was aggressive as fuck back then. Nonetheless, my goof troop back then ass swore I had something special since he got rid of her because he knew my pop-up game was inevitable. Shaking my head. Oh, she said, shaking my dumb ass head. Dear younger self, do better, LOL. Ultimately, I did, but a while later. Anywho, here goes part 2 because Noid's shenanigans got progressively worse. So she said part 2, characters, me, Noid, Noid's mom, Noid's dad, and Brandy, Noid's BM. Okay. So, although I did fall back emotionally and physically from Noid, we stayed in contact. We would meet up from time to time to eat in a group setting, his friends and my friends, including Mike and Marvin. I swore that I would never high-speed chase anyone again. That would have went all the way left. I swore to myself I was never going to do any dumbass shit that could have got me hurt in an accident or caused others to get hurt in an accident. Noid and I remained cool, but limited to talking over the phone and refraining from sexual activity when we did see each other. It turns out we made better friends than freakers. LOL. She said freakers. About a year after the high-speed chase incident, I was home in my room. Phone rang. Had my own landline at my parents' house. I had talked to Noid earlier that day, but nothing deep. Just catching up and made plans to meet for lunch with our respective squads that following weekend. Anyway, a female voice was on the other end who started in on me about Noid. She was hooping and hollering about how he is her man, she is pregnant with his first baby, and I need to stay away from him or she'll beat my young ass. I was intrigued. Not because I was crazy or wanted to fuss, but because I had been made aware of who she was. I knew that her name was Brandy. She had a 5-year-old kid from a previous relationship that Noid took a liking to, and she is 4 months pregnant with Noid's first baby. Noid had been talking to me about her for a few months when we did talk, so I calmly told her to refrain from dialing my line. Although younger than her, I'm grown and I will be around whomever I want to, so she should have Noid tell me to stay away from him. If he does that, I will respectfully oblige. Why did I say that? I think she had a conniption on the phone. She screamed and hollered so loud that I could not make out what she was saying. All that I made out is she was going to whip my ass when she sees me. Again, ever so calmly, I responded by saying, so let me get this straight. You're going to pay a bridge toll, cross state lines to fight while pregnant? Please answer clearly as I'm recording this call for quality assurance. Oh, that would have made me so mad. CYS will need proof of this when I petition the courts to have you and Noy's baby taken away for reckless endangerment. Man, she was hot. That would have sent me over the edge. Do you hear me? This time, when she started hollering, I hung her mad ass up. I laughed so hard, like, oh well, her turn on Noy's emotional roller coaster. I didn't even call him to ask how she got my number. I figured she was going through his caller ID from our earlier conversation. I was, however, looking forward to him calling me, which he did within the hour. He was cool. He apologized for her calling me. Noy told me that she tripping because he decided to co-parent during a recent breakup. He said that he told her that he and I had not been involved since well before he met her and that our friendship is way better than our situationship. I told him that I would try not to upset her, but I would appreciate it if she stayed off my line. I'm going out to think, outmaneuver, and out-argue her at every turn because she's super emotional and I am not. Had she approached me differently, I may have assured her that he and I had no dealings for the better part of that year. That I knew how excited Noy was about having a baby. I'm not dealing with him in that way. But oh well, she dialed me going off. Anyway, things were quiet for the next 4 months as it relates to Noy. Our convos remained light until one day I saw one of Noy's friends in the mall. I just picked up some pictures from Glamour Shots. Noy's friend asked me to see my pictures. He called Noy on the spot saying, guess who I ran into, and put me on the phone. I was telling Noy about my pictures and he wanted to see them. I was like, cool, I'm gonna call you later. I will bring them with me over the bridge to show you later. So later that night, the same evening, I pulled up over the bridge at Noy's house. I had not been over there for over a year, and we was not on no sneaking freak shit. I fell asleep fully clothed across the bottom of his bed. Noy fell asleep in his recliner sitting next to his bed, also fully clothed. She said it wasn't going down like that. Around 2 a.m., the house phone rang. Noy and I both jumped when the phone started ringing. Noy missed the call, and within minutes, his doorbell rang. It was Brandy at 8 months pregnant. At 8 months or so pregnant, Noy frantically went to his parents' room, then came back to his room where I was sitting up at this point. He asked me, could I please go into his parents' room because Brandy is outside, and he reminded me that I said I would not upset her if it could be avoided. I was too tired to give a rebuttal. I sleepily went into his parents' room where his mother was ready for me and put me on her side of the bed on the end, and she cuddled me. Yes, me and Noy's mom and dad slept in the bed from 2:15 a.m. until 6 a.m. when Noy's mom got up to cook breakfast. I got up with her to help cook and eat. I had to wait for Noy to bring me my car keys because I left them with my Glamour Shots photos in his room. I get my keys, but not my pictures. I would have been embarrassed, but I was not freaking on Noy anymore, and I did tell him that I would not upset Brandy while she was pregnant. If she seen me or them pictures, she would have went into labor and had that baby in Noy's parents' house ASAP. Anywho, that concludes my confession. I never got my pictures back, and I'm sure Sitting Pretty was hidden in the parents' home somewhere that morning after the high-speed chase a year prior. Because why Noy's mom has so much food readily available? Laugh my ass off. I might do a part 3 because this was not the last of Noy's and I shenanigans. Thank you, Lo, for reading, and thank y'all for listening. Oh, she sent pictures, y'all. I knew she was a TT. You are so pretty. Wait, hold on. Is you gonna tell me who in the picture? So she said, I attached some pics of me and my best friend Shayna, and I attached one of the Glamour Shots pics too. These pictures was expensive to not get back. You are so pretty. I want to show y'all, but I'm not gonna do that. Yes, please send in part 3. You and Shayna look good, girl. That was a lot. That was a lot. Yeah, go ahead and send in part 3 because we want to hear it. But thank you. This email was just so carefully like read through. I could tell you proofread. It was like, I just love the setup. Like, I love the spaces that you put in between stuff. Like, it wasn't no long run on sentence. You know how to, like, you really know how to talk. I love that. I love that so much. So thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So let's get to One more story, one more confession, because this video gonna be kind of long. Okay, so this one says Mail Again Part 2. Hey Lo, it's Mail Again back for Part 2. Dang, what was this from? Oh yeah, okay, so her Part 1 was, remember she tried to like fight the girl. The boyfriend name was Tank, and then the girl name was what was the girl name? Was Yana the girl, or was Yana your friend? Yana was your friend, right? Random was the girl. Remember, y'all? Okay, so yeah, that was the second one. Okay, so she said, okay, so boo. Next day, Yana calls me to tell me her man was mad, cussing her out because she took me to go fight, which wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. So I'm not taking shit back. Anyways, she said that Tank told him Random and her sister were talking about jumping me because me and Yana jumped her, and they're gonna press charges and light my house on fire. So I said, Yana, first of all, they not lighting nothing on fire. Second, ain't nobody jump her. I hate when people get beat up and they say they got jumped. Me too. She said, like, boo, take that L. Random was used to winning fights, so she had to lie. Anyways, so I called Tank because why didn't he tell me this info first? I mean, I was his girlfriend. He didn't answer. Then finally he calls me back and was cussing me out. He was telling me I was wrong for doing that because he was on parole and he lived around people, and how he can't believe I would do this to him, gaslighting me. So I started to feel bad, and I was just sitting on the phone crying because I was telling him he was wrong and he wasn't accepting it. I ended up coming to my senses and telling him I don't care, whatever happens, happens, and if they come trying to fight me, make sure you come too so I can give both of y'all a Part 2. She had a black eye. I stopped talking to him for a couple weeks, and then we ended up talking again, and it was back like a relationship, but every time we didn't talk for too long, I kept feeling like he was doing stuff, and this was the start of my trust issues. So fast forward to the end of the month, his birthday is a couple days away. I kept asking him what he was doing, and he was being very vague. He ended up telling me him and his friends were getting a room and drinking. He never gave too much detail on it, so I asked him, am I invited? And he said it was just gonna be the guys. I knew that he was on some bullshit, but I was like, whatever. I'm not never invited, but always want to go ass bitch. So the day the hotel function comes and he was working, telling me he wanted to come over to get some before. I was telling him sure he could, but I knew I wasn't giving him none because I knew something wasn't right. Girl, I had Random on Facebook and saw that her and her friends were saying they're excited for the night. Child, around the same time he was coming to me, she was posting pictures of her outfit. So in my head, they're celebrating his birthday tonight. It made sense to me that I would never lie to myself. So when he got to me, I straight up asked him. He tried to convince me otherwise, but I already knew. He was telling me that's not what he was doing, but he was in a rush. So basically, like, give him some or let him leave. Not just trying to pull up and get some rush coochie. So I let him go. Girl, he was in fact with the guys and Random was with her friend. Oh wait, girl, he was in fact with the guys and Random with her friends. She must have looked through his phone and saw our combos because she posted the infamous laugh my ass off on Facebook, and we know what that means. And saying how men ain't shit. I was disgusted. Like, shit again. I started to get insecure because at that time I was a good girl and she wasn't exactly that. Plus, I couldn't understand why he kept doing this to me. So weirdly enough, it's like I started loving him more, but pulling myself away at the same time. One day he texted me and he told me he wanted to talk to me after work. So he came over and told me he didn't want to deal with me anymore and he wanted to focus on college and work and have a girlfriend. Didn't mix into that, while saying I'm a wife and how good of a girl I am, but he couldn't do it anymore. I said, Tank, if I'm such a good girl, why are you doing this to me? I'm not gonna get in the way of you bettering yourself. He said we could still vibe, but no relationship. I wiped my tears so fast. Boy, who's a fool? Me. Say my, your mama. Oh. I told him, not my mama. I told him to leave my house because clearly he wanted to have his cake and eat it too. So that's what he did for a good 2 years following all of this. And if you're wondering, yep, I'm stupid. Girl, I could send in so many more stories of what else he did. Like, I literally contemplating writing an urban book because that's exactly what our relationship was. But here's the tea. Fast forward to now, that girl he played me for had a baby with his friend. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. He still loves me to this day. Laugh my ass off, love you low. Girl, send in another confession about Tank fool ass, cause I feel like we all done had that little toxic back and forth with the guy. And if you haven't, you're lying. No, I'm just kidding. If you haven't, you probably will. Again, just kidding. No, I'm not. But like, yeah, that is, I mean, you trying to come to my house and get some rush coochie so you can go out with your side bitch? Like, please. That was a lot. That was a mess. And I feel like you should have just, like, kept beating him up. I don't know. Maybe that's what I would have did. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, y'all. This video gonna already be long enough. I gotta do hella editing because my camera had stopped recording at some point in the video. So I just had to reread everything. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed the story time yesterday. I hope you enjoyed this video today. Leave me a comment down below. Comment on anything. Confession 1, 2, 3, whatever. Send in a confession. And emails to send it to is in the description box below. Make sure you are subscribed. Give this video a thumbs up. Turn on your post bell notifications. All of the good stuff. All of the good stuff. And I'm going to see y'all next week for 2 brand new videos.